Even when we tie our shoelaces, even when we take a shower, there is no idle time. Every time is an opportunity for us to use the minute we have.
Wherever you get your podcasts from, or our own website, prismoftorah.com. This is the Prism of Torah with Rabbi Saf Aaron Prisman.
Shalom Uvrocha. In this week's Parshas Behaaloscha, we know that in the Parsha it says that Bnei Yisrael did according to what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them. When he said to them, I want you to dwell here, based on the Anani HaKavod, if they stopped, they knew this is the place of dwelling for now. They had no idea when they're going to leave. The second they started going somewhere else, they knew they had to follow them. And that's why it says, Al pi Hashem yisau ve'al pi Hashem yichanu, that they had to dwell based on what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told them, and so too they left to another campsite based on what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to them. It seems like there's an intrinsic idea behind these words, as it is very repetitive in the Parsha. It says it at least 3 times. Open brackets, Sforno indeed asks this question, and he gives his answer, that is, that even if a place was very nice and amazing, you should know the reason they dwelled there was only because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted them to, which is the same idea I spoke about in Parshas Nasoy, which I didn't send out last week, but this week I'm sending it out as a different link to Bnei Chutz La'aretz, close brackets. Another question is the following. We all know there's various halachas pertaining to how we live our life. For example, even the way we put our clothes on, there's a certain order that we have to first put our shirts on, then our pants, because the shirt is more covered. First our right hand, then our left hand. Like our right arm, we put the shirt on our right arm first, then on the left. And even when we wash ourselves, the more chashuv part of the body is the head. And as we go down, we go to the right and then to the left, etc. Also tying shoelaces. First we put on our right shoe, then our left shoe, then we tie our left shoe first because that has to do with tying your tefillin on, etc., etc. And the question that some people can ask is that so important to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the order in which we do it? So yeah, Kabbalah answers all these questions, but what's al derech hapshat? What's happening over here? And what are we accomplishing? And why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu ensure that we have all these halachas? We know the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, Rabbi Hanan ben Akashya Omer, Rotzo HaKadosh Baruch Hu lezakos es Yisrael lefichach hirba lahem Torah mitzvos, shenemar Hashem chafetz leman tzidko yigdil tov v'yadir. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give us a lot of merits, and hence He gave us a lot of mitzvos and Torah. If Hashem wanted to give us merits, do we need so many mitzvahs, 613? Wouldn't it suffice to have a couple and we can redo them all the time? Or one can understand why we have positive mitzvahs, positive commandments to do this, to do that. But we also know we have a lot of mitzvahs that are lo taseh, don't do this, don't do that. Why do we need those? That's going to help us get... Why, if Hashem just, the only main idea is to give us merit, then why do we need also lo taseh? It should be suffice to have mitzvahs aseh. We know that the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos also tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with 10 ma'amaros. Be'eser ma'amaros nivra oilam. With 10 different sayings of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the world was created. And the question is, why wasn't it enough to create it with one world? Just like, why did Hashem create the world in a way that it's based on 10 sefirot, not one sefirah? Why do we need the 10 commandments? Everything's related. And the idea is, why do we need 10? Why isn't it enough with one? So this shtickle Torah was given over by my chavrusa to myself, by Rav Baruch Shechter. And I wanted to share it with you, because I think there's a lot of depth to it. It seems very simple, milemala, on the surface, but really there's a lot of depth to it. It's an machshava idea. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, first of all, wanted to give us a lot of opportunity, and to set up the stage for that opportunity, and to set up the stage to having a lot of reward and merits, sachar. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that the right thing to do was to create the world be'eser ma'amaros. Why? Just like an artist, when he creates a picture, the more details he adds to the picture, from a certain perspective, the more he gave of himself to the picture. The more he sees himself in the picture, the more he connects to the picture. The more the picture becomes important to him. As we know, true love, ahava, Lashon HaKodesh, is built from the word have. Have is to give. The more you give, the more you become one with that thing. And hence, if you look carefully in Pirkei Avos over there, it says, why did Hashem create the world with 10 ma'amaros? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give a lot of reward and ahava to the tzaddikim, to the righteous people, and to take care and have oynish to the reshaim. Because the more the world is dear to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that are created with so many details, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to love and be happy and put in the spotlight the Ma'aseh Tzaddikim, that we know that mitzvahs and Torah is precisely the reason that keeps the world going. And hence, that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted B'dafka to create the world with 10 commandments, 10 ma'amaros. Hashem created the world, etc., etc. And we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up the world, that what continues to ensures the world continues to exist is the Torah that Bnei Israel learn. Bishvil Bereishis is nechshav Torah. Bishvil the Torah we learn, and it's also true about mitzvahs. Every mitzvah a Jew does, that brings shefa to the whole world, all the worlds above us, and also the world we're in. Ad kedei kach, open brackets. One of my rabbeim told me that al derech hasoid, it's an unbelievable idea. We know that there's so much anti-Semitism in the world. And I understand from a logical perspective why Arabs are against us, because you can say, okay, they think this is their land, whatever they think. But at the end of the day, why are Chinamen against us? Why are other people that have no shaykhis to us? Why are they against us? So we know the Chazal tell us that each nation has a sal, a type of angel that's in charge of them. And they know the truth. The truth is that the world continues to get sustenance from the Torah and mitzvahs that Bnei Israel do. And hence, if there isn't enough Torah and mitzvahs done in the world, that takes away from the shefa, from the unbelievable bracha, blessing in the world. And those sarim, those angels of each nation, they realize that. So even in the subconscious mind, it gets to every person, each and every person, and they realize, wow, for good or for bad, the Jews are to blame. We're in charge of everything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's why we are the chosen nation. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the opportunity to be partners with HaKadosh Baruch Hu to keep the world going and to bring shefa and bracha to the world. Close brackets. Ad kan hakafa aleph, meaning until now we understand this concept that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world in a lot of details, so that every ma'aseh mitzvah that we do on Torah, then we help in the continuation of the world and bringing bracha to the world. And Hashem was mashkia a lot in the world by creating it with a lot of details, just like an artist creates a picture with many details. But there's also another idea over here, and that is HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'emet want us to enable us to live with HaKadosh Baruch Hu the whole time. Be it just by tying our shoelaces. We can bring Hashem into our lives just by tying our shoelaces. So therefore Hashem went out of his way to ensure that the system will be set up in a way that at every given point in time, we will be able to perform a mitzvah. Even when we tie our shoelaces, even when we take a shower, there is no idle time. Every time is an opportunity for us to use the minute we have to connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to bring shefa to the world. That is precisely why it says, Al pi Hashem isu ve'al pi Hashem yichanu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us, I want you to leave now, I want you to stop now. I want you to leave now, I want you to stop now. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted us to get the opportunity of every second to do a mitzvah. You eat a certain way, and you have in mind, even though eating is not really a mitzvah, but when you have in mind, I'm eating in order to do Ratzon Hashem, to have the koyach, to have the ability, the energy, to be an Oved Hashem, to bring up my kids in the derech Hashem, to learn Torah, to do mitzvahs, we flip that over to a mitzvah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I want you to have opportunities to do a mitzvah, and hence, it's not enough to do mitzvahs. Just the fact that we get a haircut, we make sure we get a haircut the kosher way, and not the wrong way, by not shaving certain areas that we're not allowed to, we get a mitzvah. That is The reason we have 613 mitzvahs, that we have so many opportunities, that we have HaKadosh Baruch Hu with us around the clock, and every time we're able to do a mitzvah. We know that Chazal tell us, the Arizal speaks about it in depth, that every time you go through something in life, they have an opportunity to do an avera. Then think about it for a second. I am mechaven now not to do this avera because HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded me to do it. And you just had another mitzvah. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu ensured and set up the system in a way that we, going through life, we can always ensure that at every point, every given point in time, we're able to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. As a separate link, I will send two ideas that are embedded in stories that I think are related to this Dvar Torah and also the Dvar Torah I'm sending from Bnei Chutz La'aretz and Parshas Naso. But I'll just end off for now that Yiratzoin, that will be Zoiche to seize the moment and use the opportunity that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving us to live with HaKadosh Baruch Hu at every point in time. Every point in time, not to do this avera, yes, to do this mitzvah. We have to make sure we use this precious time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us. As I always say, the one thing that has it's infinite value, and the one thing is also our enemy, is time. Yiratzon, that we use the limited and bounded time in this world to do the Ratzon Hashem and connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu and bring more bracha and shefa to the world. Have a good Shabbos. As promised, I want to share with you, I don't know if to call it a story even, but something that went through my mind as I went to the Levaya last night to Agon Rav Gershon Edelstein Zatzal, who was the Gadol Adoir. He passed away at 100 years old. 80 years he was giving shiurim. And when I heard all the hespedim, it was pretty amazing to see how his own sons spoke about him in such a fashion that he never raised his voice. He never asked them to do anything. Even when they knew he wanted a fork, he wouldn't ask them to bring him a fork. There's a minhag, a custom, to get brachas from the father on Erev Yom Kippur. As Yom Kippur comes before you go to shul to give a bracha, but his kids didn't live in the same city, so he decided that he wants to come to them. He wants to come to them, to not be matriach his kids to come to him. And his whole way of living was unbelievable. He was such a high level that his Torah made his midos to such a high level that he was able to reach a level that's almost something we can't even fathom. He cared about every yid, every person that came to his house, even though he went to sleep already. He woke up in his pajamas to help the person. There are so many stories people were saying. So why am I saying this over? First of all, it's fresh in my mind. It happened last night, and I heard all the hespedim in Bnei Brak. And second of all, I just want to share with you my own experience. As I was walking in Bnei Brak, and it was packed with all kinds of people, I was thinking to myself, at the end of the day, we're all here for now, but no one knows what's going to be tomorrow. One thing we do know, that in whatever it is, 40, 50, 70 years, that's it. Time is over. And everything over here is just one big optical illusion. Even the objects we see, the inanimate objects, we know it. It's really just molecules going at a very fast speed. Everything is a setup that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did in His infinite wisdom to give room for our freedom of choice. Bchira chofshis. How can we not seize the moment to do the right things? As my friend once told me, a neighbor of mine, he said he went to this funeral of a young person that suddenly passed away, and he told me, I looked left, I looked right, everyone was crying, because it was this very sad occasion. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know why it's such a big deal. At the end of the day, we're all going to be taken. In 50, 60 years from now, I'm looking around, I don't think anyone's going to be left in this world anymore. And he went on to tell me an idea he had. Life's like being on a bus ride. It's all a matter of which bus stop you're going to get off. But at the end of the day, we're all going to get off the bus. So why is it such a big deal? That's what he said. I want to add to that a lot more depth. At the end of the day, the big deal is, are you going to be able to seize the moment and use your time wisely when you're on the bus? The Arizal, Reb Chaim Vital, they passed away at 38, 48. The name of the game is, are you going to seize the moment? Both the divrei Torah I sent out this week for Chutz La'aretz and for Eretz Yisrael, one of them was the idea of ensuring that we have the right kavana in our ma'aseh mitzvahs. One Dvar Torah was about HaKadosh Baruch Hu giving us the opportunity to live our life in a continuous fashion all the time doing mitzvahs. And that's why He gave us mitzvahs aseh, mitzvahs lo taseh. Every second of our lives, we have the ability to tap into doing a mitzvah. The shaila is, are we going to seize the moment? Yelatzon, that will go through life. No one knows how long he has. But let's seize the moment. Let's show HaKadosh Baruch Hu we appreciate the opportunity He's giving us, and ensure we do our utmost to step up to the plate, as they say, and do Ratzon Hashem, and tap into being a partner with HaKadosh Baruch Hu to ensure there's shefa and bracha in the world. And Im Yirtzeh Hashem, through that, we will get closer to Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Meilah V'Yameinu. Amen V'Amen.
Thank you for joining us. This is the Prism of Torah. Visit our website, prismoftorah.com, where you'll find a full archive of hundreds of past divrei Torah. Subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, and don't forget to share with your friends and family. Sponsorship opportunities are available for all of our episodes. Thank you, Yona Vefa, for your recording equipment. Produced by Eli Podcast Productions.